The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi guys, this is Sukumar. I'm the engineering manager with Customer Driven Technology. Last webinar I did about piping and cabling extension was about automatic or schematic routing. So what if we don't want to use schematics, we want to route simple pipes? Like how do we do manual pipe routing? So that's what we're going to talk about in this section today. We will also talk about cabling extension and schematic cabling part of it. So to get started, let's say we have an assembly right here and we want to route pipes. Now what's most important is the coordinate systems, because the coordinate systems is where you have all your ports. Your starting points are called ports. So let's get into piping. One thing about piping is that you need something called a line stock if you're doing a manual piping. If you're doing schematic piping or spec driven piping, these parameters are automatically saved and stored and everything. Here I'm going to go into line stock. I can read from my list and I'll edit them and show it to you what they are. So if you want to go ahead and edit and pick a line stock, here you give a name, material. You see that it's hollow, it's circular, outside diameter, thickness. You can see that it can be set to be a straight or flexible. You can choose a bend, a fitting, or a miter cut. Some of the other parameters here, the possible allowed bend radiuses that you specify, bend angles, miter lengths, and miter cut number. Alright, so that's what we will be using for this particular pipeline. So we're going to go ahead and say create pipeline and give it a name, say pipe 2. Hit enter. Choose a certain pipeline that you want, say line stock. Now you see all these buttons are active. So you can say set start. You can pick a port so that it starts from there. You can extend it. Note that you can extend it through whatever coordinates, or you can say along an axis and extend it whichever way you want. Now you can go by length, or you can say offset from another reference and say pick a reference. Now you can also create your pipelines to follow axes, follow other pipelines, follow curves, and follow sketches. You see one other thing right here called the piping environment. Here you can set up and say it's a bend, it's going to be straight, and what is the bend radius. So we say follow axis. I'm going to zoom in real close. There is your axis. So you create a pipeline that follows the axis. Now we can go ahead and connect them. See that? Connect right here. You can select, press Control, pick another one, and you can connect them. Now you notice that you can mess with the length or with the angles. We'll show you both the examples in a little bit. So here is that. You can see, you can do that with respect to the length. Okay. Now, next example that I was going to show you was about following a sketch. So here we have a sketch created. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. Blue line that goes all the way. You can say follow sketch, pick the whole sketch, or you can also say follow curve and pick bitty pieces of that particular curve. Alright, so let's pick the sketch. Now you can follow it from the start to the end, or it can be offset from a certain reference or the end. Now let's go connect that to that. Now here you see that you can vary with respect to length, vary with respect to length and an angle, vary with respect to length 2 and an angle, or you can vary by length. Alright. Now, our pipeline's reached at this point. We can say set start from here, and then we can extend it back to wherever we want. We'll say offset from reference. Pick that. In whatever direction you want, you can offset. See, I'm offsetting in the X direction. Apply. You want to go in the Y direction. And okay, you see how the bend radiuses are automatically added with respect to whatever you picked as the default bend radius value for that particular pipeline. You can also go to port and pick. You can look at it in solid and see how it looks. All right. Now let's go ahead and create another pipeline which will follow this pipeline. So you can say create new and give, say, a name pipe 3. We'll pick the same line stock. We can set start from that port right there, and then we can say follow pipe and pick the pipeline. You can go offset from this particular reference. See that offset value? It's automatically calculating the distance between them. You can change them if you want to. And you see it's following all the way till here. So I can say I want to offset till there. Now you can say set start. You can extend, offset from another reference right here in whichever direction you want. And then connect to that particular port. So now you have two pipelines. All right. Editing the pipelines is very, very simple. You would just go ahead and say, hey, you know what? You're going to click on modify pipeline. You want to modify the corner type. So let's pick a corner right here. Right now it's a bend. You want to change its bend radius to 40. You see the bend radius is bigger. You want to pick another pipe or a corner. We want to add a miter with 2 cuts. So you see that? You can modify your pipeline however you want. You select that and say okay. You want a miter and you want 3 bends over there. So you can see that. And when you make a solid pipeline, you can see the differences radius wise and also miter wise. All right. Now, this is how you would route something really simple enough. You know, I don't have much fittings, just pass through different places through my plant or my assembly. Now, what if I have a flexible hose that I want to route? Okay. Now, before I get into flexible hose routing, I want to show you one other thing that you can do with our pipeline. So let's say piping. I'm going to create a pipe. Let's give, say, pipe 1. That's my line stock. You see that I can set start. We already saw this, so I can set start from here, and I want to extend it all the way till there. Now along this pipe, you can create breakpoints. So you can say break it over here. You see that? We can drag handle and decide where you want to break, apply, and break it over there. With that break, you can go ahead and now move your pipe segment. So you see that? You can do that. Right? You can also say new move, rotate about an axis, and you can do that. Yeah? So this was one other feature that I want to show you about manual piping. Alright, now that being said, let's talk about routing hoses. Now here you have an assembly and you got points. You don't need points, but you know, it's just try keeping it simple. So if you have those points, you can route to them. You don't have to create them. You can use different references as you please. Alright, so piping. First thing you want to set up is again your line stock. So you go to line stock, you're going to go ahead and read, and let's pick pipe 25A. Now you also see that your line stock is circular and it can be flexible. Now by default it is going to be straight. So when you create a pipeline, say flex hose and pick a line stock, you can go to the environment and say I want this to be flexible with a set amount of length or flexible with free length. Okay, then you can set start, pick that to a point, pick it to a point and pick that. You see that it's going to follow through and use the same bend radius for all the points, provided these 4 points or 5 points here are created in one point feature. So if I get my features shown, you see that points is an array. So you see how it goes through that. You can go ahead and edit. And you can stick in minus 200 for the offset of the point. And you see how it doesn't go through anything. So it's completely flexible and you can use points to route your flexible hoses. Now if I move the points, the pipe change, that means you can set it up to say a crane, you know, like a loader. So whatever it is, if you have moving parts, your pipe length, if you set it to be free or fixed depending on your range of motion, you can move those components and your pipe would follow that. Okay, so that was hose routing. One thing we need to remember is that we need to make sure that our environment is set to use the flexible side of the line stock. Alright, so now let's also look at some schematic driven piping. So I'm going to go ahead, close this up and open some schematic driven piping. Just give me a second. I gotta go to schematic. And here's something. Here's I have a connector. These are my fittings that I'm placing in the 2D schematics. This is my PNID diagram. So how did I go about creating this? Now this is Creo Schematics 2.0. It's a 2D tool. You get a light version free with piping and cabling. So what this helps you do is you set up everything in the 2D side of it and use the 2D information to route 3D pipes. So how do we go about doing that? So here we have something called a catalog explorer, and we have all our little symbols right here. See that? So we can go ahead and place a connection. So here I have a connection. I like to start off with that and then place another connection. What's most important in this is the model information. So if I select that connection, right click, properties, you see the model name is unset. Now if this connection is represented by a component A, then I need to put A over here. Now if I have all my fittings created and saved in the library, I can load up like this little Excel file kind of thing where I can apply a data set, and I can say this is model 150A of size 150A. Say OK, apply. Now that will get all its model name. In this way you are not remembering what to put over there or entering these values for every little symbol. You can pick another one, apply a data set. Say I want to go from 150 size to a 50 size. Okay. Now you can also go ahead and route your cables or pipelines. So right here, pipeline. I'm going to start from here. And do that. You see how it automatically tells me that it is 150A. So that is the size of the pipeline because it's getting from the starting connection. Now you can double click on this and kind of like edit it. See that? However you want. Now, let's also place, because this is 150 and this is 50, we got to place some reducers in there. So how do we go about doing that? So you go to the catalog explorer. You can go ahead and pick some reducers. So here I have a different variety of things that I can pick from. So I'm going to go here, pick a reducer, and place one right there, another one right there. So now we can select that, go to its properties. See, it's asking for some size specification. Hey, where is it going from and what is it going to reduce to? What is the name of the Pro-E model that you want to place? So you're going to just hit apply data set. And here we want to go from 150 to 80. Here, 150 to 80. It is going to automatically pick the material. It's going to automatically pick the right Pro-E model for you. And hit apply. Now we pick the next one. Do the exact same thing. We go from 80 to 50. Here, we can update all our labels and our derived parameters. So you see how it automatically changes this to 50. This is going to be 80 and this is going to be 150. You can also go here and choose some valves, for example, or say a gate valve. So I want to place a gate valve, and then I'm going to also place like a check valve per se. There you go. All right. You can select that, go to properties, apply a data set. You can say this is a gate valve of size 50. When you do that, it is going to automatically place the right model. Now this could be a part or an assembly, I can be placed automatically in your 3D pipe. Alright, GB1. Now once you're done with this, you can go File, Export, XML. Alright, so you can go give it a name, piping. It's a pro piping. I want to export the whole sheet or only the current sheet or only a set of things that I want to export. You can do that, and you can say okay, it's going to export it for you. Now I'm going to set my working directory right here. So give me 1 second. So I'm going to set my working directory. I'm going to also go ahead and change my config options for this particular thing, because right now I have it to set where it is not going to be using schematic driven piping. Now I'm just going to activate my schematic driven piping. You can see all my configs for that particular exercise, and then I'll be opening this particular assembly. You see, I can stick in, I'm keeping it simple, but I can stick like a car body to it, like a truck body to it, a big oil tanker, whatever you want. Okay, so here is your 150 size part, and here is your 50 size part. Okay, so going to piping, you see that spec driven is automatically checked because of our config options. We can create a new pipeline, and notice instead of asking me for a pipeline name, it is taking me to here. I can go ahead and open the piping output. I'm going to route leg 1. I'm going to give it a name, say leg test. Alright. Now here is where I get to designate. Designate in the sense, I'm going to say IC1 150 is that part and IC2 50 is that part. That is how I'm matching the schematic symbols, this schematic symbol with my 3D part. You also notice in our schematic, if you select that, right click and go to its properties, notice we had model name set to be 150AIC. That is the exact model name right here, 150AIC. That's how the schematic matches with your Pro-E models. So we can go ahead, set start, pick a port. So I need my coordinate systems. So I pick my port. I'm going to extend along an axis. I can extend by length by just dragging this little drag handle, or I can go offset from a reference, which makes life easy. So I go all the way till there. Now, another thing you want to set before you do this is your environment. You notice that it doesn't give me enough of a preview or anything. And it's not giving me an OK or a cancel button. Why is that? Because I've set my pipeline environment with a bend radius of 560. So that's too big for it to create that pipe. So I'm going to say I'm going to use fittings instead of a bend. And now when you extend, say along coordinate system, we go offset from a reference. You can go x-axis, y-axis, whatever you want, and hit apply. See that? Now you can again go offset in the y direction and then to a port right here. You see how you don't get any bends and it is sharp corners right here. You can also choose the pipeline view where you can see the pipeline. You see how it's easily showing that there are invalid corners over there. You need to put a fitting. You can say insert a fitting. Now I don't know what fitting to insert right here. I'm just going to click and it's automatically going to choose. You need to put a reducer of size 80. and you see that you can change its position, flip it, where you're measuring the offsets from, all that kind of details right here. Hit apply. You pick another reducer. So you see that it automatically makes it 50A. Now I'm going to go pick over here. It notes that I need a gate valve right there. It's reading from the schematic. It's automatically going to place your flange and your gaskets. You're going to make another selection, and you see it knows that you need a check valve. It automatically places your flange and your gaskets. Now if you look at thick pipe, you see how you have corners. So you can do two things. You can select a corner, which is right here, and you can say insert a bend or an elbow. You can say elbow. It's automatically going to fit an elbow. Right? Now, once you have this done, you can create your drawings of the pipeline. You can show individual fittings, routing, all these details. You can also export and create PCF files. PCF is like a, how do I put it? It is for Isogen. You need a separate license for that, and it create industry standard piping diagrams for you. I have an example for you. I'm going to show it real quick. So if I open this drawing, you can see it's going to create all your sizes, leg 3. You see that? You have your valves, you have your reducer 80 to 50, 150 to 80, right? Just a sample that I want to show as to what Alias Isogen can do for you. It's going to create these PCF drawings, which are piping standards. Alright, so that's what I had for piping. I'm going to step in and show you cabling in just about 1 second. I just need to change my config options. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about cabling. So even in cabling, you have manual and schematic driven cabling. Let's look at some of the schematics here before we go ahead with some other kinds. So cabling. Just like how we created a piping diagram, we can similarly create a cabling diagram. So you see it's as simple as catalog. You see you have different indicators like a lamp, a control module, a power box. So let's pick a lamp, place it. Alright. Now if I right click, go to properties. You see this lamp does not have your model name or any other properties. You can go ahead manually enter or apply data sets. Now if you look at these other modules and go to properties, you see that it has a parameter called model name. Okay, this is the name of the ProE model that will be represented by this little symbol. Now there are two most important things in cabling. So let's look at what they are. Let me go ahead and set my working directory and open the cabling assembly. Now let's compare. This is LO1 and the property name is CONN_2_L. So let's find this in the cabling module. So right here are your lamps. I'm going to display your coordinate system. See that? That's the part. I'm going to open it. So here you can see CONN _2_L. That's the port. You notice that it has two coordinate systems right here, entry 2 and entry 1. And you see how the z-axes are pointing outwards. That is a criteria. Now this part is represented by the symbol, and this coordinate system is represented by a port. So let's see if I can find that port right here and go to its properties. You see it says entry 1. So these wires, wire 7 and wire 6, will go to the entry 1 coordinate system, and wire number 8 will go to the entry 2 coordinate system. Alright, so that's how it connects the port and the part and the symbol to the part and a coordinate system. So we will go ahead and export this design as an XML, and then we can get into our piping assembly and import them back. So here I'm going to go applications, piping. Oh, why did I go to piping? My bad. Applications, cabling. Alright, so once you are in the cabling side of things, you see that I've created something called a network. Okay, you see these dotted lines right here? That's a network. Now I can let the cable go from point A to point B in the shortest route, or make it follow this network. Okay, so I just created some sketches. They basically just go, you know, pick, pick, pick. As simple as that, and create a network. Right? So that's how we created this network, and we'll go ahead and start routing our cables. Now you see right here, you can go ahead and say import from routed systems designer. You can import the whole XML and import the XML file that we had right here. Okay. Now, once you import, you can go ahead and compare. Compare what's on the XML file and what's on the assembly. So you see right here, these are the 20 little wires and a cable that are in the XML, but they are missing in the CAD assembly. You see that you have all your connectors automatically matched. Alright, it tells you that I have represented each connector automatically. You can see the reference designators. You see that is SW01, that is CMO2, CMO1, LO3, LO2. What are these? These are these names, LO3, LO2, LO1. See how it's matching based on the model name. Alright, so I'll go ahead and turn this off, and we can route wires now. So let's see a certain set of wires. Let's take wire number. Let's route the cable first. So this is your cable. So let's route that. You're going to say route cables, search. It's going to show that you have so many cables. Now you can pick one, move it, and route it. Before that, I want to make sure that all my cables have the right colors. So I'm going to import my color file real quick. So those are my color files. So now I can go route cables. So you see cable, search, and you see how it's going to show you a preview that it is going from CMO1 to PB01. It's kind of smaller right here. I can't show it to you right now. But you see the path that it is following. You can follow via network. You can go simple route. You can say follow another cable or follow another pipeline. You hit apply, and there you have. You go to thick lines and you see that you have your wires and you have your cable. Now similarly, we can also see, look for wire 1, 2 and 3, and we can route them as we go. So you see wire 1, 2 and wire 3 goes from the switch MS1 to lamp O3. So let's go find wire 1, 2 and 3, and you see how it's going from here to lamp O3, and there is another wire connecting lamp 3 to lamp 2. So there's that. You have some other cables. You can go ahead, pick a whole bunch of them at once. It's going to route everywhere. You can hit apply. Okay. So you see that because of your cabling or a schematic, it's going to follow through all these and create them wiring diagram for you. So this is your automatic routing of cables via, Creo schematics and Pro cabling. Now you can also create nail board drawings of it. So I'm going to quickly go create a nail board drawing for you, and then we can show some other stuff. So here I have my just give me flat. One second. Let me just set my working directory. My bad. And I can open my flat harness right here. You can flatten them. See that? You can also go ahead and create your drawings, and this drawing is going to contain all your schematic information, all your cabling routing information. You can see right here all these are read from your schematics in terms of cable, color, from connector, from pin, to connector, to pin, spool, and the length. Right? All this information is collected from your 2D schematics. That's sheet number 3. Here you can see the nail board drawing of each connector, what wires come and go from there. And here is another view of the entire cabling harness. All right. So this is what I wanted to show you guys in terms of piping and cabling extensions, manual writing of piping, schematic routing of piping, and schematic routing of cabling using Creo schematics and Creo cabling and Creo piping. So that's all I had for you guys. Can you guys open it for questions, Rosalinda? You there?
I'm here. I don't see any right now.
Yeah, questions are open if anyone wants to ask them.
Alright, if there are none of them, then I can go have my lunch now. Nope, there is one.
Actually, yeah, we've got one.
With piping, does piping route show lengths? Yes, sir. It will show lengths also. I showed you in the PCF drawing that shows lengths. It will also show you the lengths and all the schematic information, just like over here in your piping also. Okay. Anything else? Alright guys, there's nothing else. Hey Rosalinda, please stick up my our contact information too in case anybody has questions. They can always call or email us or call and email Rosalinda with any of your training needs or any questions you might have with it. Alright.
I guess that's it.
Alright, Rosalinda, do I end it or leave?
We're done.
Alright, bye-bye.
Okay.